was the biggest funeral I've ever seen. It seemed like all of Elmira was there. Businesses were shut down, the court was adjourned, and the streets were so empty it seemed like a ghost town. It's no wonder, I suppose, that man had his hands in everything, from banks and steel mills to medicine and railroads. And he was generous too, donating land for the home of the aged, sponsoring a fire company, or just lending a hand to anyone who needed it. Was it any wonder why all of Elmira mourned Dr. Edwin Eldridge like that? These days, when most people think of Dr. Eldridge, they think of the park by the same name. And I think he would have liked that. In 1960, he purchased the lake, surrounded mostly by 300 acres of swampland. No one quite knew what he planned to do with that, or what motivated it. But he knew exactly what he'd do. He'd build a park. The Civil War interfered with his plans, but afterwards he got right to work. The lake was enlarged and lined with willow trees. Thousands of loads of dirt and gravel were hauled in. There were drains cut into the hills. The slopes were graded. Flowers and plants were planted everywhere, and statues were selected. And he used his own money to fund the entire project. In 1970, the park was opened, and goodness was it lovely and lively too. I remember picnicking there with my family, listening to music at the bandstand, going to dances at the pavilion, or just watching the races at the track. There were these beautiful flower gardens, and always some mischievous child trying to dig something up. And there were statues, lots of statues. My favorite was the mermaid. It rose like magic from the middle of the lake. I found out later there was this rope you could pull in the casino to make it rise up, but it was magic back then. In the casino, I'm not really sure why they called it a casino, as there was no gambling, but there was always plenty of ice cream and an amazing view from the observation deck. And there was Chapel Grove too. In the summer months when it was too warm to hold services indoors, my family and I would go to the park to listen to Reverend Thomas K. Beecher give his sermons there. He was the pastor at Park Church. Dr. Eldridge always seemed to be at the park, whether he was just walking around giving visitors a tour, or riding in his carriage and waving at people, or just sitting on a bench. He died quite unexpectedly on December 16th, 1976, and come spring, the park seemed empty without him. In 1889, the city of Elmira purchased the park and named Eldridge Lake in his honor. And since then, it became quite the tourist attraction, bringing people in from all over the world, calling it the beauty spot of the Southern Tier. One news reporter even likened it to Central Park in New York City. And I think he would have liked that. Hi, I'm Breana Millard. I am a 22 and I am a theater and business double major.